Hi there. Today I want to show you how to integrate OpenPhone and Copper CRM so you can see all activity from OpenPhone inside your Copper CRM at the contact level. So you can see SMS, outgoing and incoming text, as well as phone calls together with transcripts and a link to the voice call. So let me show you an example. I have Copper on my right, OpenPhone on my left, and I'm going to ping my colleague Paula to send me an SMS and see what happens. Hey Paula, I'm shooting a video for YouTube about connecting OpenPhone and Copper CRM. Can you send me a text message so it goes into my CRM automatically? Thanks. So she's going to send me a message. There you go. Okay, test for the Copper OpenPhone integration, and this should create an activity on Copper soon. I'm going to refresh this. There you go. Sweet. Hey there, I'm Andres. I work at Connects and we are an automations and integrations agency. So we can help you build these workflows I'm going to show you today or any other workflows for your company. Check the link, the description below to book a free discovery call with us and discuss your automations project. To build these apps, we are going to go, you need to create an account at Zapier.com, and then once it loads, you click on the plus button, create, and Zaps. This is the interface to start building integrations with triggers and actions. If you want to learn in detail the one-on-one how to build automations on Zapier, drop me a comment in the section below, because today I'm going to focus on what I already implemented and show you quickly how this works. Basically, we need three workflows, one for incoming text or SMS, one for outgoing text, and one for incoming or outgoing calls. Actually, there are two more workflows we need to consider about syncing contacts from Copper CRM into OpenPhone. So whenever we receive data from OpenPhone, we can match that data to the correct person in Copper. To summarize, these are OpenPhone to Copper flows, and then we have Copper CRM to OpenPhone. So we have new contacts or new person to OpenPhone to create a contact and updated person as well. The first one, incoming text. First, you'll need to connect your OpenPhone and Copper CRM accounts to Zapier. Let me show you in detail how the incoming SMS workflow works. Basically, you need to select as the trigger the app, the connector for OpenPhone, and then the trigger event to be incoming message received. You select your OpenPhone account here, and then you choose your OpenPhone numbers. You hit continue and test step. With the test step, Zapier is trying to pull an existing record or a sample value from OpenPhone. So this is the kind of information that comes together with that trigger. We get the from number, the to number, the body of the message, the direction, as well as other extra informations. You hit continue with select a record, and now this is a little bit technical, but basically the find person action in Copper doesn't allow us to search using a phone number. It only allows for email. So we need a custom call to their APIs to make this work. No problem. This is very, very easy to set up, and I'm going to show you how. So basically you select the app, webhooks by Zapier. The action event is a custom request, and this is how you configure this. So the method, you need to click on post. The URL needs to be this exact URL. So api.copper.com/developer_api/v1/people/search. Then data, you need to open and close brackets and put the phone number here. I'm using the from number because this is an incoming text message. Next, you want to include the headers of this webhook, and you can copy as I have it here. You just need to change your access token here and your user email here. To find the access token, you need to go into settings in your Copper CRM and select look for integrations and generate an API key there. That's the token you need to paste in here. So you go into settings, you scroll down, API keys, generate API key, and then you copy and paste this key into Zapier. Back to the workflow, you hit continue, you test your step, and this will find a contact with the contact ID in Copper. So the next step is to create an activity. You select the Copper connector, Then action is create activity. You connect your Copper CRM account, and then you can choose what kind of activity you want to log. So in my case, I have this. You can just leave, a note, or otherwise you can select one existing activity from Copper. Then for the activity date, you can paste this number here. You can paste this value here, Zap Meta UTC ISO. You look for Zapier time and date, and you click the first link here. So this will show you how to add a timestamp in your time zone. And what you want to use is one of these values here. So I go usually with UTC, but if you're in standard or any of these other time zones, you may prefer to use that. So going back to Zapier, you paste it here, and that will store the time at the moment this action runs. Okay, then you choose what kind of object you want to store this note and activity into. I'm looking for a person, and then the parent object, you want to bring the ID that was found in step 2. So you click, we first change this from static to custom, and then you click the plus button and bring in the value, the ID coming from step 2. Okay, so then select your acting user, and then here is where you bring in the body of the text message. I like to add an icon, an emoji, a visual cue if this is an incoming or outgoing text, and then I bring in the value dynamically of the body of the message. Hit continue and then hit publish. So this automation will start working from this time moving forward. It's always a good practice to rename your zaps so you remember later on what this app is about. Let me show you quickly how the outgoing SMS workflow works. It's pretty much the same, but in this case, we connect to OpenPhone again. But in this case, the trigger event is the outgoing message delivered. Hit continue, you select your phone number, and then you test this trigger as well. Then the find person on Copper webhook looks like this. So instead of being the from number, we map here the to number. The headers are pretty much the same. You use always the same API key that you generated in Copper, which by the way is different from the Zapier API key you need to use to log in your Copper account into Zapier. And finally, the last step is to create an activity again in Copper. So you select your Copper connector and account, you select the create activity action, and then to configure this, you select SMS as the activity type. You paste again the Zap Meta UTC ISO, parent type person, and the ID coming from step 2. Now, in this case, I use a different emoji to signal that this is an outgoing message. The next two workflows are an important piece because we need to be sure that the contacts in OpenPhone are up to date. So the next two workflows are about moving contact details from CRM into OpenPhone. These are pretty simple, and we have two. One for new people, new person, and the way to map this, basically we connect the Copper connector and we choose new person as a trigger, connect our account, and then test the trigger. This is the information that comes together. Again, we have first name, last name, full name, primary phone, so on and so forth. And important, we have an ID. This is a unique identifier of this contact inside the CRM. This will become important later on. So when we create a contact in OpenPhone, we need to select the OpenPhone connector. The activity is to create or update a contact. And this is how the configuration looks like. So I mapped the first name in the first name field. Again, the last name, same, and the phone numbers as well. We can bring in email addresses or a company if we have those as well. But here's the important piece of these, the ID. If you hover over the underscore ID text here, you will see a small explanation snippet saying, hey, this is a unique ID of the contact from the source. So this is an ID coming from the source, which is in this case, Copper CRM. When set, OpenPhone will attempt to update an existing contact that matches this ID. If not set, a new contact will be created every time. So if we leave this, OpenPhone will create a new contact every time this runs, but we don't want that. We just want to, in the future, for example, when we update the contact, we want to make sure we are updating always the same contact instead of creating new every time. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to map the ID coming from Copper and again hit publish, and this will start working. Now, if we look at the other Zap about Copper updated person into OpenPhone, it looks pretty much the same, only the trigger event is updated person instead of new person. And then the action is the same as the other one on OpenPhone, is to create or update a contact, and the fields are mapped in the same same fashion. The last Zap is a little bit more complicated because the call recording completed trigger from OpenPhone works either for incoming calls or outgoing calls. So I'm making use of paths here to understand if this is an incoming call or outgoing call. Let's start first looking at the trigger. So the setup is pretty much the same as the other Zaps. We're triggering off of OpenPhone, and the event this time is call recording completed. Then you add a path, you select your phone number, and then you test the trigger. Let me show you how the triggers behaves in this case. So this is the information that comes together with the trigger. And in this case, you notice there is a direction here. Trigger brings in also the URL for the recording of the call, as well as the transcript of the call. Okay. Let's click continue with select a record, and then we have paths here. Paths allow us to go into one direction or the other based on the logic we map here at each path. So in this case, I'm setting the direction to exactly match incoming. So it will run this path if it's an incoming call. Otherwise, on the other path, I set up this to not match incoming. For the incoming path, the find person on Copper will look for contacts with the from number using the from number, while on the other side, it will use the to number. As well as the activity, I set up the create activity in Copper action to log both the transcript and the URL in both cases, and just changing, the emoji again to understand if this is an incoming or outgoing call. That's it. That's all for today. So if you get lost building this app, feel free to book a free discovery call with us as well. We are more than happy to help you and show you how to build this on your own. Find the link in the description below. Cheers.